So once again, welcome. Happy to have you all for the James Bible study. So let me start with just a quick recap. Today is the 21st week. I really don't know how far it is useful for you all and how much you could remember. Milton I hope you remember all these things. Okay, how many of you feel that it's really useful? You கேட்டாரு மனசு கஷ்டப்படுவாரு கை தூக்கலாம் அப்படிலாம் தூக்காதீங்க. Okay, I'm sure that it will be useful. Okay, this is the first epistle written to the New Testament church, and the first epistle, the first topic itself, trials, and we are studying about trials. I mean, this first chapter, not only the first message, the entire chapter, I would say that approximately 18 to 20 verses predominantly talks about trial. Either it is directly connected to the trials or it is all linked, all connected and indirectly to trials. Even whether it is talking about the faith or wisdom or doubt, patience, endurance, even though it looks like it's speaking so many various topics, but it is all related to trials. I mean, still, maybe at least another 5 to 6 weeks we'll keep on studying about trials, at least 5 to 6 weeks. Okay, so this is the flow. We all know that. Okay, why trials? This is testing our faith, and after testing our faith we'll have the patience and steadfastness which leads to perfection, and finally it will end with happiness. And how the chain of reaction. So first you have trials and testing of faith and patience and perfection. Then you have a couple of elements, that is you need to have wisdom and you need to have faith and you need to have humility. These are all the things we are studying now, especially wisdom. In fact, today also we are going to study about wisdom, because theologian says whenever you have trial, don't ask for deliverance, don't ask for grace. In fact, ask for wisdom. And how to ask? You need to ask with faith, without having any doubt. Why it is doubt? Double-minded, because you are in the furnace, you are in the trial, you are in the problem, you are in the challenge. You feel like God is not around you. It seems like God has forsaken you. Many times, whenever you are in trial, that is how we thought, because we don't get the answer from God the way that we are expecting. So predominantly we feel in such a way that, okay, God is not answering our prayers. So we will have doubt and we will have double-minded. And finally, the one thing is, key thing is, keep loving Him. That is the ultimate goal. So whatever happens in your life, whether He is answering all your prayers, whatever you ask or not asking, simple thing is simply love Him irrespective of all the situations. So the last couple of weeks we studied James chapter 1 verse 5. So let me just give a quick recap what we have studied in James 1:5. This is basically talking about, okay, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. So we have studied first what is wisdom and what wisdom could do. There are 10 to 15 things I think we studied. Can anyone remember, give me one or two examples for power of wisdom? I said wisdom can do this, wisdom can do this. Better you can have wisdom than all these things. I have told so many things. Can you name it one or two?
Skill.
No, that is not a definition. Why we need wisdom?
One person and rulers.
Many rulers, but one person has wisdom. Who is the strongest one? The one who has wisdom. Without wisdom, can you build the home?
No.
And especially when it comes to women, you can build the family with wisdom. And wisdom is like gives strong confidence. So many things we studied about wisdom. That is why we need wisdom. Why we studied all those things? We need to understand that how important wisdom in our life, especially through whenever we are in trials. And what is wisdom from Old Testament and New Testament? Because this worldly wisdom is completely contrast from the word of God. So we have studied from the word of God what is wisdom. So there are so many things we have studied. The first, wisdom is basically a skill. Not only skill, you need to obey the word of God, and if you have wisdom, you will lead the people. You know the pulse of happenings. What example we have studied for the pulse of happening? David and Joab. So Job, one lady suddenly came and started, just lamenting or started telling some stories. David immediately understand that what she is talking about, and not only that, who would have sent her exactly. He said Job. That is, you should know what is happening all around. Then this it's not wisdom is basically not looking at what's happening, but wisdom will look at what will be the outcome, what will be the end result. That is what wisdom. And finally, teaching doctrine and how you need to respond wisely when it comes to enemies. Then we have studied about trials, wisdom with respect to the book of Acts. Okay, we have studied about two incidents. One is about Peter and John, and especially how they have prayed. And another one is how Paul prayed and what Job did. And when it comes to Job 28, how this guy was not looking for the deliverance or answer from God, but especially he is looking for the wisdom. He is searching wisdom, and so many things he is written about wisdom. So that's what we have covered last couple of weeks. And today, and the one more thing is, okay, and where I can find the wisdom. First of all, where I can find, whenever you are in trial, you need to find wisdom. Where can I find it? The best answer is you get it from Job, we get it from David and Solomon. Where you can find the wisdom? Where you can find the wisdom? From God. By what? By fear of God. So that is what the response of Job, David and Solomon. Not only David said, even not only Solomon, David has said this and Solomon is reiterating. So many times, so many verses we read why we need to know where we can find wisdom. And what is fear of God? That is what last week I have studied. Can somebody say that? Can somebody quoted the four things I have said when it comes to fear of God? What is the first one? Fear of God. First?
Nothing between God and man.
Okay, nothing between God and us. What is where did we study from? Genesis chapter 22. When it comes to Abraham, and even if it is Isaac, he was ready to put him on the altar when it comes to God. Then God said, now I know that you have fear of God. That is first one. What is the second one?
Sensitivity to sin.
Sensitivity. Exodus chapter 20 verse 20. Sensitivity towards sin. Not what we are doing, not only what we are doing, not only what we are speaking, more than that what we are thinking. There itself you need to have the sensitivity. Which example we have studied? We studied from Ezra. Even though thousands of families came that place, very few hundreds, and the percentage 0.389%. People are done the problem, but still this guy was just plucking out all the hairs and just screaming and lamenting. That much sensitivity towards sin. What is the third one? It is very hard to accept the commandments, but Bible says, David says, if we delight in his commandments, delight in promise verses, that is our nature. But David says, delight in the commandments. That is what? The fear of God. And the fourth one is, we need to serve the Lord. Serve means what I said, serve is not only serve alone, serve along with the family. Serve along with the family that we studied. Okay. What are the benefits? Quickly run through again. The first one is, when it comes to benefits, it is not only, it gives life, not only life, it gives satisfaction. Many things in this world gives life, but we are not getting satisfaction. That is why all the illegitimate pleasure, all the wrong affairs, all the wrong things we do in this world, the one cause or the major cause is basically dissatisfaction. Only wisdom can give life, not only life, in that life the sustainment or the satisfaction, and not only satisfaction, it will make sure that there is no harm. This is overall benefit of wisdom. And we have studied deep in little bit detailed manner. That is, one is, okay, you will not turn away from God, Jeremiah 32:40, which means if you have the fear of God, God will make sure that your heart is always looking at Him. God will make sure that you will not turn away from Him. Just know, it's just a wonderful thing. It is not something you need to work hard not to move away from God. This is, if you have fear of God, God Himself makes sure that you will not turn away from God. What a fantastic blessing it is, really. No, we really need, if God said, I will get a hold of you. You will never leave me. Just to have fear of God. Fantastic. That is one of the blessing. And another one is Nehemiah 1:11. He said, God's ear is so attentive towards the people, those who have fear of God. So, yes, of course, God is a prayer answering God. But the people, those who have fear of God, has the special attention, because God's ear is not attentive. It says very attentive towards the people, those who have fear of God. And fear of God is a strong confidence, and fear of God prolongs life. And not only that, even if you are a midwife, even if you are a pagan man, if you have the fear of God, you will have, your families will be having the well-being. So that is what we have studied. Okay, fine. See why I am talking about all these things. First, here in the trial, the greatest ever need is not grace, not deliverance, not strength, but wisdom. We need to have wisdom so that we can understand the purpose of God and we can walk according to the will of God. Number one. So in order to have the wisdom, you need to have the fear of God, because fear of God gives you the wisdom. And how do you fear? What kind of, if you have the fear of God, what all things you need to do? That's what you studied. Then, if you have the fear of God, the benefits is not only the wisdom. Of course, you will get wisdom. Of course, you get life. Of course, you will get no harm. Of course, you will get satisfaction. But more than that, you have all these benefits. So, only one solution is, if you are in trials, the best thing that you can do is, yes, you need wisdom. Yes, you need to have the fear of God. But if you have the fear of God, all the problems will be resolved. Why? Why James is talking about fear of God, or maybe let me put it this way, why James is talking about wisdom when it comes to trials? Because wisdom is connected with the fear of God. Then why James is talking about the fear of God when it comes to trials? The key point is, when everything is in place, when every blessings on its place, we will have fear of God automatically. That's what I said last week. So when you pray for a job, you got the job, then you'll make sure that you'll have the fear of God, so that you can pray for, marriage, and marriage will be on. And after marriage, you will pray for children. Okay, children is on its way, on its right time. Then you pray for all the other blessings. Okay, if I don't fear God, I may miss all the blessings, because I pray, I have fear of God. God is answering all the prayers. So let me keep having the fear of God, so that I'll get all the blessings. This is one way. The other way is, I'm praying, but God is not answering. I'm praying, it seems like God is not inclining His ear towards me, and I am in trouble. So I am in a lot of troubles. Yes, of course, I am in the furnace. I am crying out God, but God is not answering. Automatically, you will have one tendency in your heart is, why should I fear God? Why should I pray? Why should I seek God? Because if I'm just keep on praying, this God seems like not answering, this door is not seems like opening, then what is the point of fearing God? What is the point of praying to God? Let me not pray, let me not fear God. That tendency will automatically come into the mind of the people, those who are going through trials. That is what happening, those people. That is why James is writing all these things. So let me study this today. 5th verse once again. Let's look at the 5th verse. Look at the first one is, if any of you lacks wisdom. Let me put it this way, if any of you lack fear of God, so that you have lack of wisdom. Is it right or not? Correct? If you have more wisdom, then obviously you will have more fear of God. If you have less wisdom, then you have less fear of God. So here you can replace in such a way that, if any of you lacks wisdom, adukku padala bracket la fear of God. Because if you have fear of God, automatically you have wisdom. So let me look at lack wisdom. Let him ask God, to whom? Who gives generously. So generously means lavishly. So for example, if I am in a need of 1 crore. No, I cannot come and ask, okay, Melvin, give me 1 crore. 5 10னா தந்துடலாம் பிரதர், நீங்கள் 1 கோடினா எத்தனை சைபர்னு எனக்கே டவுட்டாக இருக்குது அப்படிமா. ஸோ ஐ நீட் டு கோ and ask somebody who is having the money lavishly, who is having thousands of crores. If somebody has thousands of crores and I'm going and asking or give me a crore, that no, he doesn't even bother. 1000 கோடியில் 1 கோடி போனால் தெரியக்கூட செய்யாது, சரந்தா எடுத்துக்கோ. But somebody is really in thousands, I cannot go and ask. This world has wisdom. The world has, philosophical world has wisdom. Schools are teaching wisdom. Colleges are teaching wisdom. Universities are teaching wisdom. They are trying to teach wisdom, but the problem is they don't have the right wisdom and they don't have in a generosity manner. Whatever they have, they thought they have too much, but they have very little. But we are striving so hard when it comes to school, when it comes to university, when it comes to world. கொஞ்சம் உலகத்தில் பழகி தெரிஞ்ச பிள்ளையா இருக்கணும் பிரதர், கொஞ்சம் ஞானமா நடந்துக்கணும். என்ன ஞானம்? உலகம் தரக்கூடிய ஞானம், it is all waste. It is something the world itself, world itself just longing and craving, for wisdom, because they don't have it. But here Bible says that if you want wisdom, the only one place, the only one who can give generously, so just go and ask him. Now the huge problem is this: when it comes to money, many people will say that, okay, I don't have money, could you please give me some money? யார்ட்டையா போயிட்டு உங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் அறிவு கம்மியாக இருந்தால் என்கிட்ட வந்து கேளுங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் யாராவது உங்கள்கிட்ட கேட்பாங்களா? நீ யார்ட்டையா போயிட்டு ஆனால் உங்களோட கொஞ்சம் பணம் கம்மியாக இருக்கா, இஃப் யூ டோன்ட் ஹேவ் மணி ப்ளீஸ் கம் அண்ட் ஆஸ்க் மீ, எல்லாரும் வருவாங்க. இப்போ யார்ட்ட இங்கே டக்குன்னு பொதுவாக உங்களுக்கு யாரேனும் அறிவு குறைவு இருந்தால் நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுங்க, கொஞ்சம் அறிவு வேணும்னா என்கிட்ட வாங்க அப்படின்னு யாராவது வருவீங்களா? ஏன்? இப்போ உங்கள்கிட்ட வீடு இல்லைன்னா வாங்கன்னா வீடு தரேன்னு வருவீங்க. If you don't have money, if you want to have money, come to me, I will give money. People will come. But when it comes to wisdom, that is the problem. If somebody has to understand that he is in a lack of wisdom, the first thing he needs is the need of humbleness. அதனால தான் இங்கே உங்களில் முதல்ல யாருக்காவது லேக் இருக்கா? அப்போ முதல்ல என்ன அர்த்தம்னா, first we need to understand that we are lack in wisdom. If you don't ever convict that you have lack of wisdom, then you will never ask for wisdom. நாம எப்படி தெரியுமா, நாம wisdom கம்மியாக இருக்குங்கிறதுனால ஆண்டவர்கிட்ட wisdom கேட்க மாட்டோம். எங்ககிட்ட இருக்கு, இருந்தாலும் நீங்கள் கொஞ்சம் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணால் நல்லாயிருக்கும். இது எப்படின்னா என்கிட்ட லட்சக்கணக்கில் இருக்கு, நீ ஒரு 2000 தந்தா ஓகே. அது எப்படின்னா, we are not ready to humble ourselves. We are not ready to understand who we are and who God is. We treat God in a way, in such a way that, okay, God is like us, or we are treated in such a way that we are like God. But the first thing is what James is trying to insist is, first you need to understand you are in lack of wisdom, which means முதல்ல நீ புரிஞ்சுக்கோ உங்ககிட்ட இல்லை, ஆனால் அவர்கிட்ட நிறைய இருக்குது. அவர்கிட்ட இருக்கிறத கம்பேர் பண்ணும் பொழுது உங்ககிட்ட அது ஒன்றுமே இல்லை அப்படிங்கிற அந்த ஹம்பிள்னஸ்க்குள்ள வந்தால் மட்டும்தான் பிரச்சனை சால்வ் ஆகும். இது எப்போ? யூ ஆர் இன் ட்ரையல்ஸ். ஸோ நவ் லெட் மீ கனெக்ட் ஆல் த டாட்ஸ் அகெயின். யூ ஆர் இன் ட்ரையல்ஸ் and you are asking God. God is not, it seems like God is not delivering you, it seems like God is not removing your problem. Then now what you need to do? You need to ask for wisdom. Why wisdom? You need to ask for fear of God. Why fear of God? Then only have wisdom. But you need to understand that I have a lack of wisdom. Means what? You need to have first humbleness. Let's look at this verse. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 7. We are going to study so many verses today. I want you to be familiar with all these verses so that I can nail the point. What does it say? Be not wise in your own eyes, fear the Lord. Look at the terminology. One end you can see fear the Lord, another end you can see wisdom. So that is a connection between wisdom and fear of God. If you think that if you are be wise in your own eyes, automatically you will not have fear of God. So what you need to do? First fear God, then you will not see yourself as wise, then only you can turn away from evil. What does it basically says? If you think you are wise, obvious result is you don't have fear of God. How many of you feel like you are wise? If you think you are wise, the first thing you need to understand that you don't have fear of God, because He is who can give generously, who can give the wisdom in a lavish manner when compared to the wisdom that He has, and when compared to the wisdom that I have. Whatever I have, it is nothing. I cannot claim myself as I am a wise person. So if you think that you are a wise person, I'm sorry, you are in a deception in such a way that you don't have fear of God. If you don't have fear of God, obviously everything will be a disaster. I'll just read a couple of statements why I'm connecting all these things. Okay, so basically, first I'll say that, then you will please connect all these things first. Whenever problem comes, automatically the fear of the Lord will be gone. ஏன் நம்ம என்னன்னா, நான் உனக்கு இவ்வளோ நாள் பயந்தேன், என்ன பிரயோஜனம்? நான் ஆண்டவருக்கு பயந்தேன்னா, if I have fear of God, God has to operate in a way that I expect. God should react, God should act the way that the mold that I have. If God is deviating from the mold, or if God is deviating from the way that I expect, the first thing I am losing is fear of God. So problem comes, the first thing is you need to make sure that ஐயோ பிரச்சனை வந்துருச்சு, இப்போ நான் அதிகமாக ஜபிக்கணும் இருக்கட்டும், ஐயோ பிரச்சனை வந்துருச்சு நான் அதிகமாக பைபிள் படிக்கணும் இருக்கட்டும், இது எல்லாத்துக்கும் மேலே பிரச்சனை வந்த உடனே the first thing you need to look into that, check your fear of God. Check your fear of God. Okay, problem has come. Maybe God is not operating the way that I expect. Maybe God is not answering the prayer that I expect. So I should not deviate. I should not reduce. I should not feel like, why should I fear God? No. This is the time devil will hit your faith and devil will hit your reverence towards God, and you need to stay strong to believe, to increase your fear of God. And especially when trial comes, whenever trial comes, automatically the trial package la innonu சேர்ந்து வரும். என்ன தெரியுமா, இந்த இட்லி வாங்கினா கூட என்ன சட்னி சாம்பார் தனியாக கேட்க மாட்டோம்ல, இட்லி பார்சல் வேணா சட்னி சாம்பார் தனியாக அதை கொடுத்துருவாங்க. சார் இட்லி மட்டும் தான் கேட்டிங்கன்னு சொல்ல போகிறது இல்லை. Whenever trial comes, let me tell you, automatically you will have questions. Not questions about you. எனக்கு ஏன் வந்துச்சு நம்ம கேட்க மாட்டோம். நான் என்ன பண்ணி ஏன் கொடுத்தீரு, ஏன் அனுமதிச்சிரு. Immediately the next point is we will have questions to God. You all know the story of Job. Job was asking so many questions, but when he has the encounter with God, you know what the first thing he has done? Let me shut my mouth. என் வாயை பொத்திக் கொள்கிறேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா. அப்ப என்ன அர்த்தம்? என்ன வரைக்கும் ஆண்டவர் ஒரு ட்ரைலர், ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு பிக்சர் தான் காமிச்சார். அப்படி வந்த உடனே I heard so much about you. Based on my understanding, I started speaking so much about you. But now, I have seen you. Now, let me stop speaking. Now, sometimes, whenever you are going to meet a celebrity, you thought, I need to ask this question, I need to ask this question, all these things, you have a list of questions. The moment the man has come and asked, okay, come on, ask me now. I thought of asking, but forgot. Exactly that is what happened in the book of Job. When God was not manifested in a way, maybe God has not manifested literally, he has so many questions. அது எப்படி அவர் அப்படி பண்ணலாம், இப்படி so many questions. டக்குன்னு கார்டன் ஏதோ பேசிட்டு இருந்தியப்பா, என்னப்பா சொல்லுப்பா, சார் இல்லையா ஒன்றும் பேசவே இல்லையே சார், புத்திக்கிறேன் சார். Exactly. When trial comes, we have questions. Let me tell you, the more you started asking question to God, that is the place you need to think very carefully, because something deception is entering into it. Because we are not believing a God who will be operating the way that we expect. If you want a God who has to work according to your needs, according to your modes, then that entity is not God, cannot be a God, because you are the God operating so-called something God. I hope you understand my point. If God is a God, leave him as a God. Leave him as a God. He is a God. He is God. He is a God of you. For example, you are voting somebody, make as somebody as a chief minister, and you are telling to chief minister every day, chief minister, இன்னைக்கு ரேஷன்ல பருப்பு போட்டுறணும், சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர் இன்னைக்கு ரேஷனில் அரிசி போட்டுருணும் அப்படின்னா அவர் சீஃப் மினிஸ்டரில் உங்க வீட்டு வேலைக்காரன். ஓட்டு போட்டதுக்கு அதே மாதிரி முடியாது. அதே மாதிரி தான். இஃப் யூ ஸ்டார்டட் டிக்டேட்டிங் டு காட், லெட் மீ டெல் யூ, காட் cannot be a god and you are acting like God or you are trying to keep yourself as a god for God. Don't ever do that. You know why I am saying this? Whenever you have problem, the first thing is the fear of God is gone. Second thing is you will have a lot of questions. Third thing is you will have a counterfeit courage. You know what is counterfeit courage? It looks like courage. Counterfeit note அப்படின்னா 500 தாள் மாதிரியே தான் இருக்கும். ஆனால் பேங்க்கில் எண்ணும் போதே என்ன பண்ணிடுவாங்க? They can easily find out. ஆனால் கட்டில் பார்த்தா 500 கட்டு மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். ஆனால் அது ஒன்றுத்துக்கு உதவாது. அதே மாதிரி தான். Whenever problem comes, we thought, I am facing the problem, I am praying for God for last 1 month, God is not answering last 1 month, and I am facing the problem, now I am getting courage. Yes, okay, let me go and face it. That is not courage. That is something counterfeit. You will not realize it. Because how did you know what is the progression? First, fear of God is gone. Then you started questioning God. Now you thought, okay, போரும் நீர் ஒன்றும் பண்ணல, நானே பார்த்துக்கிறேன் because I don't need help of God. Okay, let me go and deal it. But that is how Job has lived. The way Job has spoken is something like, I did nothing wrong, but still this God is not operating the way that I expected. So he has got a courage and speaking against God in such a way that I am a righteous person. Kind of talk came out of the mouth of Job. That is a counterfeit courage. எல்லாம் ரொம்ப பேசினாரு. ஆண்டவர் வந்துட்டு, தம்பி ரொம்ப பேசிட்டு இருந்தீங்க, திருப்பி சொல்லு அப்படின்னு வந்தார். இப்போ என்ன சொன்னோம்? தெரியாமல் பேசிட்டேன் சார். இனிமே அதுக்கப்புறம் ஜோப் பேசவே இல்லை. அதுக்கப்புறம் யார் பேசினா? முழுக்க ஆண்டவர் பேசினார். அதனால ரொம்ப பேசிடாதீங்க. One day will come and he will start talking too much. That time you cannot. Where you will keep your face? நான் யோசிச்சு பார்க்குறேன், யோப் என்ன பண்ணியிருப்பார் தெரியுமா? தரையாக படுத்திருப்பாருன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். பேசி முடிச்சுனேன், படம் முடிஞ்சிட்டேன் சார், இப்போ எந்திக்கலாமா? பேசாமல் நான் போய் அவனுக்கு ஜெபம் பண்ணுறேன். எனக்கு ஜெபம் பண்ணி என்னத்தை பண்ண போகிறேன்? நான் போய் அவனுக்கு ஜெபம் பண்ணுறேன். So that, look at his problem. He thought his problem is so big up to that particular encounter with God. The moment he has got the encounter, he treated his problem so lightly and he started praying for somebody else. உங்களுக்கே தலைக்கு மேலே பிரச்சனை இருந்துச்சுன்னா உங்கள் பிரச்சனைக்காக ஜெபம் பண்ணுவீங்களா, மற்றவங்க பிரச்சனைக்காக ஜெபம் பண்ணுவீங்களா? அந்த அளவுக்கு நல்லவங்க யாரும் இல்லைன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அப்படிலாம் இல்லை பிரதர், ஐ வில் ப்ரே ஃபார் அதர்ஸ். நோ. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வில் ப்ரே ஃபார் ஆல் ஆஃப் அவர் ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ். Then finally we'll conclude with the prayer like அவனே பார்த்துருங்க. But look at Job's life. The moment he has an encounter with God, what is the problem here? He spoke too much, but now God says, whatever the courage you have, that is a counterfeit courage. The real courage is not, it will not operate like this. The real courage is stand on the midst of the trial and holding on God and waiting for the God to operate in his life. Whatever happens, irrespective of your expectations, irrespective of your longing, irrespective of your mindset, irrespective of your understanding, you simply standing and you will never ask God why. See, including myself, whenever we have problem comes, the first question about to ask is ஏன் ஆண்டவரே. அடுத்த question ஏன் நான், why me. No, even I do have this tendency, but let me ask one question. Have you ever asked God, whenever you don't have any problem, have you ever asked God, why this blessing? Why no problem this day? Today is fine. Why God? Why I don't have fear today? Why I don't have fever today? Fever and God, why I have fever today? அப்போ என்ன பண்ணும்? நீங்கள் நியாயமானவங்களா இருந்தால் காய்ச்சல் வராத அன்னைக்கு என்ன பண்ணியிருக்கணும்? ஏன் காய்ச்சலே வரல? வேலை கிடைக்கல, why God? வேலை கிடைச்சது, why God? Why you have given me job? Why you have given me 3 times meal? Why you have given me good dress? Why you have given me good marriage? Why have you given me good job? I really don't understand. Why are you doing like this, Lord? எனக்கே கேட்டிருக்கீங்களா? அப்போ நாம் என்ன நினைக்கிறோம்? தர்ற வரைக்கும் நல்லவர். நம்ம நினைச்ச மாதிரி தரலன்னா தந்தாலும் தரட்டாலும் செஞ்சாலும் செய்யட்டாலும் He is God. Amen. You have selected CM, but the CM is not operating the way that you like. Whether you have selected PM, even if the PM No. Whoever it is, whoever is in the position, whoever just putting lot of tax and everything, you guys are paying. You are not saying that no, I only selected, but you are not. You are asking me no, too much of tax. Let me not pay. No, because He is God. He is God. That is the huge understanding of Job. When trial comes, don't ask why God. So what you really need is wisdom. Wisdom. That is why we are keep on talking about this. And wisdom means fear God. And fear God. You know, when it comes to human tendencies, we'll question God as if God ஒண்ணுமே தெரியாத மாதிரி நம்ம நிறைய கேள்வி கேட்போம். பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா? Sometimes you will ask in a question in such a way that you don't understand the holistic picture. For example, when Angeline or Evangeline, when they'll ask a question in such a way that okay, we don't know anything. ஏன் இதை அப்படி பண்ணக்கூடாது அப்படின்னா அதை பண்ணக்கூடாதுங்கிறதுக்கு எல்லா காரணத்தையும் சொல்ல முடியாது. ஏன்னா எல்லா காரணத்தையும் விளங்கிக்க. For example, Angeline is asking, okay, give me pomegranate. Do you think that I will give the pomegranate? ஏன்பா 4 வச்சிருக்கலப்பா ஒன்று தர வேண்டியது தானே, உனக்கு என்ன கஷ்டமாக போச்சு தர வேண்டியது அவன் கேட்கலாம். பட் I cannot go and explain, you know what you need to do pomegranate, you need to just open it and you should not eat all the other things, you need to eat only the seed and you need to, I cannot explain all these things because she will not be able to understand all these things. Sometimes we'll drink some drinks which I cannot give to her. Now she will ask, Daddy, give me the drink. I will say no. Why no? I cannot explain. I can explain, but she will not be able to understand. So that is how we need to treat God. Let me put it in this way. So there was a preacher. He was preaching and he was talking so much about the wisdom of God and the great riches of all His knowledge and everything. And this guy was asking, it happened in among the tribes. And the tribe was asking, what are you saying your God has so much wisdom? I don't think God has so much wisdom. Your God has not planned properly. Your God is not understanding the problem. You know what? The small climber, it has holding a huge pumpkin. Just show me that image. No, it is small climbers, but look at how heavy pumpkins it has to carry. Look at your God. God is not God doesn't have enough wisdom. And look at the next tree, the novel tree. It is a huge tree, but carrying small fruit. Vlovariya marathukku ithnondu baram, inda chinna climberku ivlovariya pusanika. What? You just try to match it. Wow, where is your God? Where is the wisdom of God? அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கும்போது மேல இருந்து நவாப்பழ கொட்டை டம்முன்னு தலையில விழுந்துச்சு. இப்போ என்ன யோசிச்சு பார்க்கணும்? You just imagine these two things are getting interchanged. If in case pumpkins is just hanging over there till that up to that much height, and because of the wind, if the pumpkin is just started falling, just coming down, அது தலையில விழுந்திருந்தா what will happen? That is how our wisdom. But God's wisdom is just beyond our understanding. You may not able to fathom. You are not able to explain why God is doing this and that. This is something beyond His beyond our understanding, because He Himself wisdom, and He who has generously, lavishly having wisdom. You need to have that mindset. So that's what I said. Okay, we never question God. Why did you give me health? Why did you give me food? Why did you give me job? But whenever the problem comes, we started lamenting. That is why exactly Job lament, and finally what Job did is, when Job chapter 28, Job started seeking wisdom. புலம்பி பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை. I was asking God, I was questioning God, and I was feeling like I thought of questioning God with respect to so many things. But finally, the only one solution is no point in asking question towards God. The only thing is, let me shut my mouth and find out the wisdom. That is what Job 28. We discussed last week. So, and when it comes to man and God, that is because of the sinful nature, so because of the fallen, man has a default nature of pride. Or let me put it this way. We are always or spontaneously, easily, quickly, naturally will put others down. அது நமக்கு spontaneous வரும். அது எதுக்கு காடா இருந்தாலும் நம்ம பார்க்க மாட்டோம். Many times in my hometown, even my home, my dad will say that God has to answer in this way. ஏன் ஆன்சர் பண்ணும்? Why he has to? Because we treat God like God ஏதோ ரொம்ப தெரியாத மாதிரியும். We know so much. This is our natural, our by no, it's like a byproduct of sin. Let me give one illustration so that you can understand. Once there was a small boy. He went and asked his father, "Father, how did man come into the world? How did the man come into existence?" And he said, God took the clay and God took the sand and God formed man and he breathed in his nostrils and he became a living being. And he went and later point out he came back, "Dad, when I was asking how man came into existence, you have given me the answer in such a way that okay, God is breathing and all those things. But when I went and asked mom has given different explanation." What explanation mom has given? Then he said, "Mom said, man came from, man was originally, he was a monkey and monkey became a gorilla. Somehow, man came from a monkey. I don't know, I couldn't harmonize these two truths." Then the dad is just looking at her and simply said, "Oh, okay, fine, fantastic. Okay, she is talking about her family and I am talking about my family." Simple. See, obviously, you will have the tendency in such a way that, okay, அவன் அப்போ போயிட்டு இல்லப்பா தப்பு அம்மா தெரியாமல் சொல்லிட்டாங்க, the Darwin thesis, actually biblically, no, we are not ready to, because automatically because of the fallen nature, we are always putting others down and thinking about ourselves like we are so great. The same attitude we have when it comes to God as well. அவர் காடுங்கிற உணர்வு இருந்துச்சுன்னா நம்ம ஆண்டவருக்கே ஐடியா கொடுக்குற லெவலில் நம்ம இருக்க மாட்டோம். Why we are giving suggestions, why we are giving counsel to God? Because of the fallen nature we are thinking that we are so wise in our own eyes. Proverbs chapter 26 verse 12. It says, "Do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for fool than for him." இல்லப்பா அவர் முட்டாள் அவர் ஞானவான், அது முக்கியம் இல்ல. Who has the hope, who has the future, who has the good life, good confidence? Not the one who sees himself as wise. Somebody is literally full. Let me tell you, the one who is literally full has the hope. But the one who thinks that he is wise in his own eyes, he doesn't have a future. So if, for example, if a blind comes and tells you that I am blind, could you please help? You can help. But if a blind comes and tells you that I am not blind, can I help you? What will happen? Both of their life will be destroyed. That is the problem of humankind. We thought we know much. We thought we are wiser. In fact, at one extreme, we thought we are wiser than God because our eyes are being blinded when it comes to, because of the sin and the fallen world. One more verse, Isaiah chapter 5 verse 21. Woe to, means adamane artham, ayyo, yarukku ayyo na, woe to those who are wise in others' eyes, in their own eyes. Many times we see problems through our wisdom and we claim we are wise and we forget to think about God's wisdom and God's understanding, and we forget, or maybe we forget, or literally deliberately we neglect to think the huge gap between our understanding and God's understanding. We forget the being gap between us and God, animal being, human being and God being. We forget this gap. ஒரு நாய் உனக்கு நான் சொல்றது புரியவே மாட்டேங்குன்னு உங்களை பார்த்து சொன்னா நீங்க உடனே சரி நாயே கொஞ்சம் தெளிவா சொல்லு, திருப்பி இருக்க சொல்லு, புரியுற மாதிரி சொல்லு கேட்பீங்களா? அட நாய, ஏன்னா பிகாஸ் தட் இஸ் அனிமல் பீயிங். பட் நம்ம மட்டும் காட் பத்தி என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? காட் கொஞ்சம் கவனிச்சு கேட்குறீங்களா? இப்போ சொல்றேன், கவனிச்சு. How come? If a dog comes and giving suggestion to me, I will kick the dog out because I know the being difference. The dog has to understand the being difference. The same way, when it comes to God and me, I should come to I should have the understanding. Like, he is a God being and I am a human being. Of course he is your father. Of course he is your provider. Of course he is good. Of course he is so love and kind and all these things, but still he is God. நாய்க்கு நம்ம தான் சாப்பாடு போடுறோம், நாய்க்கு நம்ம தான் டாக் ஃபுட் வாங்கி கொடுக்குறோம், நாயை நம்ம தான் குளிப்பாட்டுறோம், நாய் நம்ம கூட பெட்லோட சிலரை படுத்துக்குது. நாளைக்கு நீங்கள் பிரியாணி வச்சு ஒரு தட்டில் சாப்பிட்டுருக்கும் போது நாயும் வந்து நம்ம ரெண்டும் ஒரே தட்டில் சாப்பிட்லாமேன்னு சொல்லி வாயை வச்சா நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? இந்த பக்கமாக நீ எடுத்துக்கோ, இந்த பக்கமாக நான் எடுத்துக்கன்னு சொல்லுவோமா? சேம் டாக். Why? Because of the being difference. It is not because of the love. You love the dog, exactly. You treat the dog, you provide the dog, but still dog is a dog and man is a man. The being kept has never been filled by any dog or any animal. The same way God loves all of us. God has a plan for all of us. God provides all of us. God guides all of us. God gives grace to all of us. Irrespective of all these things, don't dare to forget he is God. Many times our parents, you will have a very jovial conversation with your parents. Like, you will talk about, you will mocking them and you will talking all these things. Suddenly at one point, your dad will step back and say, hey, appa, paathu pesu. Yeah, there is a limit. Of course I am a friend. Of course I can treat you as my friend. Of course you have grown up, I will treat you as my friend. But still, don't ever forget that I am your father. I have given you the birth, so you are always my son. Always I am your father. The gap, nobody can fill the gap. In the same way, when it comes to God, we need always understand that yes, my wisdom and his wisdom has a huge gap. I should not think myself as like, I am wise in my own eyes, and I should not devalue or mistreat God. Let me give one example. There was a terrace, and in that terrace, there was a glass door. This lady is every day when she just wakes up, and she'll come with a cup of coffee and she looks towards that glass door on the other side. And next image. So, and every day when she was watching, the other side you can see that the other lady, the one who was living in the next apartment, she would have washed and she would have put the clothes for not to dry. And she look at the cloths and she, I don't know what poor detergent she is using. Yeah, these are white cloths, but it seems like yellow cloths. I really need to teach her how to wash the clothes. And one day she just came and looked through the window to look through the mirror. It was fantastic and so bright, and she was surprised. And her husband came. Why are you staring at the clothes? What is the purpose? And she said, you know what, this poor lady, I don't know what detergent she is using. The poor detergent, every day it seems like so dull and dirty, but today she has got some revelation. It seems it looks like so bright, and like all the clothes are looking so good. And the husband was taken another sip of the coffee, and he said, honey, I just cleaned the door today. I just cleaned that our door today, our glass door today. Exactly, that is what. Many times we thought God is making poor plans. Many times we thought God is not working properly. Many times we thought God is not orchestrating or organizing the things appropriately, and we thought many times God seems like missing the mark. We thought many times God is just not doing things in a right manner, and we thought God is not operating appropriately the way that we expect or the mold that we do have. But now we want God to change, and God said, don't ask me to change, I want you to clean your door. I want to clean your perception. So why it is? Because our human tendency, the fallen world tendency is basically we have we have the haughty eyes. We have we see ourselves as more wise than God. That's what Romans 12:16. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty. Be associate with the lowly. never be wise in your own sight. Means what? Let me read the verse reversely. Never be wise in your own sight. If you are wise in your own sight, you cannot live harmony with one another. You will be always haughty, and you cannot associate with the lowly people because you decide that you are a wise person. Again, why are we studying this? Because James says, if any one of you lack in wisdom, then ask God. But the problem is, if I have lack money, I can go and ask somebody. If I have lack any riches, I can go ask somebody. But if I have lack of knowledge, if I have lack of wisdom, in order to get that understanding, first I need to have the humble heart. யாராவது என்னைக்காவது கொஞ்சம் அறிவு இருந்தால் சொல்லுங்களேன்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்களா? நல்லா கவனிங்க. ஸ்கூலில் கூட இந்த பாடம் சொல்லித்தான் அப்படின்னு கேட்குறது ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். ஏன்னா இது கூட தெரியாமல் இருக்குது அப்படின்னா நம்மளை மட்டம் தட்டிடக்கூடாதுங்கிறதுக்காகவே நம்ம கேட்க மாட்டோம். இப்படி நீங்கள்லாம் ரொம்ப ஹம்பிள் பர்சன் கேட்பீங்க போல இருக்கு. Now when it comes to me, there are few subjects I will not go and ask because I thought they may think me more bad because, oh, you don't know even this. How come you come to this class without knowing this? இந்த மாதிரி வார்த்தைகள் வந்துடக்கூடாது. அப்போ அப்படியே இருக்கிற மாதிரியே காமிச்சுக்கணும் ஒரு பில்டப். Exactly, that is what haughty eyes are. You are thinking wise in your own sight. Let me show you one verse that Jesus has told. Very, very important. There's a context is different, but the same principle. John chapter 9 verse 41. Jesus said this. Jesus said to them, if you were blind, you would have no guilt. Which means, in my translation, simple this way. If you say you don't know, no problem. But now that you say, we see. Yeah, I know. If you say, I know, then your guilt remains. Which means, you have to know, or else, you are guilty. நம்ம எப்படி தெரியுமா? நல்லா பார்த்துறீங்களா? Many times, even though you don't know things, we'll talk stuff as if we are know it very well. உங்களுக்கு தெரியாது நினைக்கிறேன். ஏதாவது ஒரு புதுசாக ஒரு இடத்துக்கு, let me put myself on the spot. There was a time I really don't know much about cricket. And that time, I think I was in my 9th standard. All the people started talking about cricket. And I came here, it seems like I am an odd man out. So I should also talk about cricket. Then I said, yeah. Oh no, wicket poidichi. I put all this. Suddenly what one guy has done. That time there was a book called Sports Star. He took the Sports Star book and, hey, you are talking too much about cricket, right? You tell me who is this guy. I really don't know, because that time that guy was the captain of Indian team. That's all thing. I really don't know who is that. Hey, Romba. No, it became like a puppy sham in front of everybody because I acted, I behaved, I pretended in such a way that I know much about cricket because all the people are talking about cricket. But obviously, when they put me on the spot, I got the shame. Exactly this is what happened. When it comes to God, we thought, okay, God, you need to operate in this way because I know everything. In this world, this is the situation. You don't understand my problem. But when God made you to know that you know nothing, that day we'll feel so bad. That's what Jesus said. If you say you are blind, that's okay. You are escape. If you say, I know everything, means simple. The simple thing is what Jesus is trying to expect is have a humble heart. Have attitude of surrendering. Like have attitude of not knowing anything. If you understand your lostness, if you understand your darkness, if you understand you are in the need of help, then only you will come to God. Let me tell you, the more you understand your weakness, then only you will depend more on God. Sometimes, whenever you are in trials, it seems like, you will get discouraged and you have a counterfeit courage and you have started questioning God and automatically you started depending on something else because you felt as if God cannot help. But actually, the problem, the thing that we really need is, in this situation, we need to understand our lostness, we need to understand our darkness, and we need to cry out God for help. More depends on God is more strength. Very simple example. We all know Naaman's story. If you look at 2 Kings chapter 5, this guy, you all know the story, so I'm just narrating in a nutshell. The small girl She talked about her God and her prophet, and this guy came to the king, got the letter, and he came to this Israel country, and he was looking for healing for his leprosy. And he came to the prophet. His expectation according to his wisdom. He thought the prophet will come out, and the prophet will pray, and the prophet will touch his body, and the prophet will see some good things, some saying some mantras, whatever it is according to his culture, and I will be healed. Now the prophet says, okay, go and take bath. அப்போ நான் அழுக்கா இருக்கேன்னு என்ன குளிக்க சொல்லிட்டான். இப்போ என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு? அந்த ஈகோ தட்டிடுச்சு. என்னாச்சு? How come this guy is asking me to take bath? நான் என்ன குளிக்காமலா இருக்கிறேன்? நான் என்ன குஷ்டமா இருக்கேங்கறத குளிக்காதனால குஷ்டம்? No. How dare he is asking me to take bath? Okay, I cannot do anything. And that is according to, he thought he is wise in his own eyes. Because his expectation is, if you are a prophet and if a sick person come, this is how you have to treat. But later point of time, you all know that, in fact, Jordan river is basically not a good river, in fact. So now he came next to Jordan. Now the other person, younger than him means lowly. You know what we read in Romans chapter 13? Romans 12:16, live in harmony with one another, do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Now he is ready to associate with the lowly. Yaru? I'm a soldier. He is a captain, he is a soldier. So he is in high state, he is in a low state. Maybe, உனக்கு தெரியுமாடா, நான் யாரும் தெரியுமா அப்படிலாம் கேட்கல. Now he is ready to associate with the lowly. Means what? What happened to him? So far, he thought he is wise in his own sight. Now, he is repenting from that thought. என்ன நானே அறிவாளி ஞானவான் நினைச்சுக்கிட்டு இருந்த என் பார்வைக்கு நான் ஞானவானா இருந்த வரைக்கும் என்னால் அவன் சொல்றதை கேட்க முடியாது. The moment he break that barrier, the moment he break, okay, I am not a wise man. I really need help of God. I really need help of somebody. It is not something I can face the battle. It is not something I am so wise. The prophet is not wise. I am so wise. All these people are not wise. எனக்கு தெரியும் அப்படிங்கிற எண்ணத்தை எடுத்து போட்ட அடுத்த செகண்ட் he started live in harmony with the lowly person. And what happened? If you read that verse, 2 Kings chapter 5:11, Naaman was angry and went away, saying, behold, I thought means my understanding, my wisdom, what I thought, he would surely come, which means he has to come, and he has to stand and call upon the name of the Lord. Is all Naaman's mold. You have called in this way and wave his hand over the place and cure the leper. This is what his understanding, this is what his expectation. But what happened is, now he frustrated, he came here, and now the servant came near and said to him, living in harmony, treating the lowly as wise, not treating self as a wise. So now this guy said, my father, it is a great word the prophet has spoken to you. Will you not do it? If he has given some difficult task, would you have not done that? Yes, I would have done that. But what he said, simply just to wash and be clean. Why don't you do that? You know the rest of the story. Now here he just went and he washed and be clean. Sometimes we are expecting God will operate the way that we expect with all the complications. But sometimes when we become humble, when we accept God's wisdom, when we yield and when we live in harmony, we give up all our understanding and just to put ourselves, God, I'm really depending on you. I'm not expecting the way you need to operate that the way that I expect. I'm not questioning you. I don't have the counterfeit courage. I'm just giving up everything. I'm just to fall flat on you. And Lord, forgive all my filthy languages. Forgive all my questioning attitude. That is what Job has done. Oh, let me shut my mouth because I have spoken too much, Lord. I know because of the trials. I know because of the turmoil. But still, Lord, I thought I am wise. But I know you are wise. Now, this is the only one thing that I can do. That let me shut my mouth. So here, this guy said, okay, Fine. Wash and be clean. Let me go and wash. Stop all his expectation and leave God's action. God is acting. The only thing is, so basically what I'm trying to say, accept your weakness. Don't ever think that you are strong. Don't ever think that you can manage the shoe. No, you cannot tie your shoes without having the power of God. You cannot open your eyelids tomorrow morning without having the grace of God. Of course, you have thousands of problems all around, but still you are able to wake up, still you are opening your eyes, still you are able to walk, still you are able to talk, still you are eating, still you are sleeping, still you are working, still you have money, still you have family, still you have children, still you have thousands of blessings. All these blessings are not accumulated by you, are not earned by you. It is all given by God. Accept that weakness and understand all these things are given by God. I am depending on God. Exactly, that is how we are called to live. Accept your weakness. Confirm your dependence. Tell God, God, I am depending on you. It is not about my wisdom. It is not about my courage. No, as long as you don't feel the need of asking, which means you are not necessarily seeking God and you are depending on yourself and you are not depending on God. I just put this one statement. My strong dependence of God is my great strength. If I want to be strong in this world, if I want to be successful in this world, the only one thing I can do is I simply depend on my God. More you depend on God, that will become your strength. You know why I'm saying all these things? Let's go back to James 1:5. James 1:5 says, if you lack in wisdom, which means now I explain up to this, we are all lacking in wisdom. We are all need to understand that don't ever be wise in your own eyes. If you feel like you are wise in your own eyes, let me tell you, you don't have the confidence that a fool has. Even the fool has confidence, you will not have confidence. And if you feel like you are so wise, then you are lost and you are in the darkness. You are blind, but you think that you are able to see. But actually, you will end up in turmoil and you end up in ditch. So what you need to understand, the first, I need to remove that. I need to remove that, this shells, Lord, I am not depending on myself, I am depending on you. Humble yourself. Then only you will start asking God. சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல வாயுள்ள பிள்ளை பிழைக்கும் அப்படிமாங்க. அப்படின்னு அர்த்தம் தெரியுமா? ஐயோ இது இல்லாமல் என்னால் இருக்க முடியாதுங்கிறவன் தான் கேட்க ஆரம்பிப்பான். God எந்த வரைக்கும் கொண்டு வருவார்னா, if you lack in wisdom, first that is understanding. I need to understand my dependence. I need to understand my weakness. I need to understand my life cannot be lived by my own. I need to depend on God. I am bankrupted. Then immediately, then only I will ask God. So asking munna first என்ன வேணும்னா லாக்கிங்கிற அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் வேணும். இது ஏன் எங்கேயாவது வசனம் இப்படி இருக்கா? நீ பணத்தில் குறைவுள்ளவனாய் இருந்தால் தேவனிடத்தில் கேட்க கடவன். எங்கே பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா? If any one of you lack in riches, let him ask God. ஏன்னா அதுக்கு எழுத வேண்டிய அவசியமே இல்லை. ஏன் சொல்லாமலே எவ்வளோ இருந்தாலுமே என்ன கேட்போம்? இது பத்தலை, உங்களுக்கு புரியுதா புரியலையா? ஃபேமிலி எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் ஆகிட்டு now I need more. எங்கேயா சொல்லியிருக்காரா? if you lack of home, let him ask God for home. கேட்கல, எழுதலை. ஏன்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக அவன் கேட்பான். ஆனால் விஸ்டம்னு வரும்போது தான் if anyone, அது anyone அப்படின்னு எடுத்தோன்னா 50 பேர் இருக்கிறீங்களா, யாராவது ஒருத்தனாவது லார்ட் I am in lack, I really need your wisdom, I am not strong. Yes, of course I have work, but the work will not help me. Yes, of course I have money, but the money is not going to help me. Of course I have a strong strong wealth order, but those things I am not depending on it. Lord, I know I have a very good technical skills or whatever, I have all these things, political influence and all these things, but still Lord, I know I am in lack. இப்போ God கேட்கிறாரு, வந்துட்டியா, கரெக்டான இடத்துக்கு வந்துட்ட. இப்போ நீ என்ன பண்ணுவ? ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்லி வில் ஆஸ்க். யார்கிட்ட கேட்கறது தெரியுமா? You are asked somebody who gives generously. No, come for next week. We are going to study about what is generosity and what kind of God. உங்களுக்கு கேட்க பிடிச்ச செய்தி அடுத்த வாரம் இருக்கும் இல்லையா? காட் தருவாரு, நிறைய தருவாரு. ஏன்னா வசனம் இருக்கல, அதே பிரசங்கம் பண்ணணும்ல. So next week please come. I will going to teach about what kind of God we serve, how generously He will give. நிறைய பேர் வருவாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் அடுத்த வாரம். But here the first thing is you need to ask God. Quick, let me put it. Why ask God? Let me explain about that one word ask. Maybe we will continue next week. Here it says, let him ask God. What does it mean ask? I want to mean, whatever the doctrine I have built, I just want to prove based on that one word so that you will be convinced. Okay, let's look at what is ask. Look at the meaning of this word. Ask. The Greek word is itio. Itio. The Greek word is itio. You know the meaning of that word? Ask, beg, call for, crave, desire, require. So these are all the meanings. Let me explain few places where it has been used, that word, one word. Let's turn our Bible to Acts chapter 12 verse 20. I don't have the verse here. You turn your Bible, Acts chapter 12 verse 20. Look at what kind of scenario. I want you to see that, then only you will understand. Acts chapter 12 verse 20.
He had been quarreling with the people of Tyre and Sidon. They now joined together and sought an audience with him.
Actually, these two people, they are now Herod was angry with the people of Tyre and Sidon. So they sent a delegation to make peace. எதுக்கு? Because their cities were dependent upon Herod's country for food. What does it mean? Simple example. Herod has a lot of food and these people don't have food. But in between them, terms are not good. அவன்கிட்ட போய் மானங்கிட்டு போய் நம்ம சாப்பாடு கேட்கலாமா அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஸ்டேஜில் இருக்குது ரெண்டு பேருக்கு நடுவில். So the terms are not good, but this guy is in a lack. This guy in a lavished manner. He has so much, he doesn't have anything. But the terms are not right. Even though the terms are not right, still they want to make peace because he has everything. அப்படின்னா எப்படி கேட்டிருப்பான்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? ஏரோது ஒரு 10 முட்டை அனுப்பி எரும மாடு அப்படி சொல்லிக்க முடியுமா? வாய்ப்பே இல்லை. ஏன்? He has so much, he has nothing, which means even though Herod is not operating the way that I want, even though Herod is not behaving the way I want, still the seeking, I am an inferior. How the inferior will seek towards the superior, that is what the term called ask. Whenever you ask to God, அப்பா மாதிரி கேட்கலாமா? கேட்கலாம், தப்பு இல்லை. When it comes to wisdom, here they use the word ask is something like, you need to treat God as superior. Means what? Treat God as God. எப்பா என்னதான் இருந்தாலும் நீ ஜனம், அவன் ராஜா, அவன்கிட்ட இருக்கு, உன்ட சோறு இல்லை, அப்போ எப்படி கேட்கணும்? ராஜா சோறு அனுப்புங்கன்னு கேட்க முடியாது. ராஜா பசிக்குது, அனுப்பிச்சிட்டிங்கன்னா நான் வயிறார சாப்பிட்ருவேன். Have that heart. You need to treat God as superior. Before you treat God as superior, first you need to understand you are inferior. One more example. Turn your Bible to Acts chapter 3 verse 2. You all know this context. Acts chapter 3 verse 2. This is in front of the temple. Yeah.
As they approached the temple,
a man lame from birth and being carried in. Nalla kavaniga. Peter and John walked to the temple, but this man carried. இவனால நடக்க முடியும், இவனால நடக்க கூட முடியாது. இப்போ செகண்ட் சாப்டர்ல என்ன நடந்துச்சு? lot of money, everything is flowed in the bosom of Peter, and they started started spending everything as together as a family. Now this guy is just looking for help for his next meal. அவன் நடந்து வந்தான், இவனை தூக்கிட்டு வந்தாங்க. அவன் நிறைய காசை விட்டுட்டு வந்தான், இவனுக்கு அடுத்த வேலைக்கு காசு இல்லை. Look at inferior superior. Let's read that verse. As they approached the temple, a man lame from birth was being carried in. Each day he was put beside the temple gate, the one called the beautiful gate, so he could beg from the people going into the temple. That word is also used the same Greek word. Beg. Why I am not explaining all the other words? அதெல்லாம் நமக்கு தெரியும். Craving தெரியும், desire தெரியும், require தெரியும். But ask and beg is not something like, treat yourself as a beggar and ask. No. Treat yourself as like, let me put it this way. Have a humble heart. Have a humble heart. Even though you are in trials, even though the problems are so big, even though you have a counterfeit courage, even though you are questioning God, even though you spoke so much about God, against God, maybe this is the time you need to ask in a such a way that God, you are superior. You are God and I am in dependence on you, Lord. Strongest dependence on God is our great strength. So I'll stop with this and we'll continue next week. Let's all stand up and pray. We all need wisdom. Why? Everybody in this world, if you are following God, you will have trials. உலகத்திலே உங்களுக்கு உபத்திரவம் உண்டு. Everybody. Sometimes it will show explicitly, sometimes internally, sometimes externally, sometimes emotionally, sometimes personally. But anyhow, everybody will have trials. If you don't have trials, maybe you are in the wrong track. If you are in the trials, obviously you are in faith. You are in faith. So here James is saying, when you are in trials, I want you to depend more on God. Don't try to be wise in your own eyes. In this time, what do you need to have? Not grace, not strength, not deliverance. Of course, all these things are needed, but mostly, predominantly, superiorly, primarily, you need wisdom. Why he says wisdom? Because wisdom is directly connected to fear of God. You are in trials, you know what you need to have? You need to have more fear of God. And if you need to have humble heart, understand that I cannot with my own with my own strength, with my own wisdom, with my own courage, with my own money, with my own provisions, I cannot solve this problem. I need to depend on God. He is wiser than me. I have little wisdom, but He can lavishly provide. He is so generous because He has too much. Now I need that wisdom. And the first expectation is, God said, do you have the heart of asking? Asking means what? First, make sure that you understand the need. If you don't understand the need, you will never seek, you will never ask. If you understand your lack, நான் இல்லை ஆண்டவரே, என்னாலலாம் முடியாது, not by my wisdom, not by my strength. My only strength is dependence of you. Great dependence on God is our great strength, because we will never be shaken, because God is always constant. Have that confidence. Let's all pray. Loving Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this study, Lord. Thank you so much for this wonderful day. Lord, we strongly believe that you are ministering to all of us, including myself, Lord. Still, there are areas we need to understand, we need to confess, we need to get convicted that you are God. We have to see ourselves as God being. We need to see you as God. and we need to see ourselves as a mortal human being. What a great grace that you have lavished upon us. What a great master. What a great love. You shifted lowly towards, in fact, it is a being shift, came to us to redeem us. அதுவே எவ்வளவு பெரிய விஷயம் ஆண்டவரே. The redemption, the salvation, the eternal redemption. And thank you so much for the sanctification process, Father. These trials are removing all dirts and forming and making the way you want us to be. Give us the wisdom to yield and to humble and to increase in the fear of God and increase our dependence on God. Thank you so much for teaching all these things, Father. You lead us and guide us. Bless all the people, those who have come. Lord, minister to each and everybody individually, Father. And you keep doing it, Father, Lord. Thank you so much. In the mighty and matchless name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.